Hey guys, welcome back to the biggest agricultural platform in Namibia known as Induna Wengombe, which means headman of cattle. My name, of course, Mitchell Mutumba Simata, aka the headman of cattle. So today, I wanna talk to you. I think I've done a couple of videos on buying and selecting beef bulls and so forth, but I wanna talk to you again about this topic because this was one of the topics that I covered on the recent Farmers Day in the Zambezi. I was talking about what you should do before buying a bull for your beef herd. So let's get into the information. As you guys know, I'm never writing solo. I got my trusted notebook here of my not so flattering handwriting. Subsistent livestock owners usually have no rules or customs for the improvement of their livestock through breeding. Most of these farmers allow their animals to breed more or less and accept the results as inevitable, as they tend to place their confidence in herd numbers rather than quality and reproduction performance. Overstocking is a real challenge as it further reduces production and increases felt degradation, fodder shortage, and poverty. General problems include bulls that are too old, infertile animals, or these with low fertility and inbreeding. The importance of the bull in a cattle breeding program is usually underestimated by subsistence farmers. A cow is responsible for half the genetic material in a calf, while the bull is responsible for half the genetic material in 25 or more calves. Keeping a defective bull can therefore be a costly business. Yet, subfertile bulls are common among subsistence farmers. And I know this because at one of the farmers' days, one farmer approached me and told me he's had a bull for 5 years in his kraal, and that bull has not given birth or has not produced any calves. But he has calves, and he does not know whose calves they are. So I told him could be that other bulls are coming to mount your animals, and your bull is infertile, and you must not sell it, but sell it to Meatco or slaughter it yourself and eat it. Because you can't keep a defective bull in your kraal. It's becoming costly because you're paying workers, you're buying feeds, you are doing all these repairs on your farm, and you're spending money and not getting anything in return. So avoid such animals. Yet subfertile bulls are common among subsistence farmers. The result is lower calving rates and a reduction in farm profits. Subsistence farmers need to be provided with extension and training programs that will teach them the basics of animal husbandry, such as subsistence field management, breeding principles, and cow management. They also need to be advised on marketing skills, such as when, where, and how to market their animals. This I need to focus on also. Sustainable beef production. Ideally, every developing farmer should want to improve their genetic composition and overall returns on his or her beef cattle enterprise. Before this can happen, however, certain basics of farming management practices must be put in place. A bull to a new environment, allow it to adapt for at least 3 months before using it for breeding. Make sure there are large enough camps to keep cows and bulls separate, and so avoid unplanned mating. Maintain cows in good health and implement the correct health programs for for your area, such as vaccinating cattle for common diseases at the right time. Ensure that watering systems supply clean water throughout the production period and keep the animal drinking troughs clean at all times. Maintain windmills and watering systems in good condition. Repair leakages as soon as you notice them. Apply appropriate stocking rates. When apply appropriate stocking rates and consult a field expert for recommendations on a grazing system suited to your area. Make every effort to keep grazing in a good condition. Inspect your animals regularly to make sure that they are in good breeding condition. Ensure that selected bulls are fertile, venereal, and injury free. Test all bulls for sexual transmitted diseases in advance of the mating season and treat those animals that carry diseases. Buy a young functional sound bull that can provide support in an emergency. It must, however, be a bull earmarked for future use. Purchasing beef cattle bulls. It's always best to buy bulls from reputable breeders in your area, registered with SA or Namibian Stud Book or recognized Beef Cattle Association, as this will guarantee accountability and reliability. When selecting a bull, ask the following three questions. Is it fertile? Will it adapt well to your environment and production system? Will it produce calves of genetically superior quality? Fertility of the bull would, however, be tested by a veterinarian for semen quality and quantity. Lack of reproductive disorders and absence of venereal diseases. Many breeders association provide records of physical soundness of the bull, such as scrotum circumference, which also supports semen quantity. A large scrotum circumference indicates a high degree of fertility. Nonetheless, you as the buyer should personally evaluate the libido of the animal during the mating season to ensure that it services your cows regularly. Hardiness. It is wise to choose a hardy bull that can adapt well to felt. This means that you should buy a bull from a breeder who breeds livestock under extensive felt conditions without introducing much additional feeding at certain periods of the year. However, a minimal amount of mineral supplements may be introduced in winter on the farm with in winter on farms with mostly sour vegetation types. Overfeeding bulls usually need special maintenance, therefore also require additional feeding programs to sustain them. A bull that produces calves with heavy birth weights is a much bigger problem than mistake made by a single cow. An inferior bull can create problems in the offsprings of all the cows it services, whereas an inferior cow is responsible for poor traits in just one calf per year. Sweetfeld versus Sourfeld. Avoid buying a bull raised in sweetfeld vegetation regions and moving it to Sourfeld vegetation in a high rainfall area. Vegetation deteriorates in quality. Bulls often struggle to adapt to vegetation that in nutrients during winter months. This leads to low fertility and small calving crops. So there was a topic I would have covered. I think I did some. No, I just focused. I did a topic covering just bull selection, but these are the things that one has to look at. As I've always told farmers that you buy a bull from an area of sweet felt, you take it to an area of sour felt, this animal will struggle. And then later on you turn around and be like, nah, it's losing weight, it's getting thin, it's not breeding right, and you complain. So I think these are some of the information shared. I believe it was Farmers Weekly by a livestock consultant, an expert livestock consultant, who was consulting farmers. Always try to make sure that you buy a good quality bull. I think we need to move away from buying substandard bulls. Let's buy quality bulls and let's buy very, very fertile bulls of high libido. And then let's also build. I know people say, but Mitchell, if I buy a bull for 50,000, where would I keep it? I always tell people in the communal areas like villages, just build one of your plow lands, give up one of your plow lands and just fence it off. 25-hectare camp or make it a 50-hectare camp depending on how much plow land you have, and you put your bull in there and put water infrastructure and then let the bull stay there. When the female cows go out to graze and when the female cows come back and it's now right around your breeding season, you bring that cows in, you put it in that 50-hectare camp with your bull and they do the work. And once the bull has finished mounting them, because you'll notice when a bull's done doing its work, it will no more be walking around sniffing the cows. Then you release them from that camp and you send them back on their merry way back into the field to go graze there. But that's one way you can go about it. I've seen farmers build small camps for their bulls, and what they would do is when the cows come back and it's breeding season, the bull would stay in that camp. But when it's breeding season, they would allow that bull to come out of that camp and join the cows in the kraal, and that's where it will do all its mating. Once it's done mating them and it's not showing any interest in sniffing when they're urinating or trying to mount them, what they do is they take the bull out and they put it back into the big camp where it stays, and then they release the cows and the cows go on their merry way. So That's one way we can go about it. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say bye for now.